Today, we're going to be talking about placement. We need to figure out exactly where we're going to be placing the modulars, how we want them to be set up, the dynamic pieces that we have that you can see 360, just all of that good stuff we need to start thinking about so we can start building and mocking for the city itself. Also, today, we're going to be announcing exactly what's going to be built on that middle table that is lower. So let's get into it. Before we get into the placement, the building of the city, all the plans and all that other stuff that we have, Michelle and I just wanted to say thank you so much for those of you that have subscribed to the channel, that are leaving likes on the content, that are leaving comments. We really do appreciate the support that y'all have been giving us. And the channel has grown over the last couple of months. And it's just kind of cool to see us building a community together with other like-minded individuals that love clicking bricks together, right? It's just really cool to see that. So anyways, that being said, let's get into the building of the city and the plans and stuff. Yeah, I don't know if I worded that correctly, but it is what it is. Now, looking in the city in this direction, you can kind of see what our thought processes are on having certain pieces being 360 kind of viewed. So if we look at this area right here, you can indeed see everything from a 360 view. And this is kind of where some of our focus is going to start because it literally sets up the rest of the city. Now, what our thought process on this side is, we're going to be placing a lot of modulars on this side. This side will indeed be modular heavy. Now, this is the plan as of right now. It could potentially change. It's not something that is written in concrete. So we are going to be shifting a lot of the modulars on this side to see how we can get them to work and make them make sense. It's not just going to be random in their placement. We just don't like to do things like that. Now, going over to the city center, this is gonna pretty much stay the same. There's not going to be a lot of changes with the city center except for the mills plating of specific things and the rebuilding of the garage and what we're going to be doing here in this front area, because it was substantially different than what it was in, or what it is now in, the new city layout compared to the old city layout. So we're going to have to figure something out here that's gonna work. Now, as we shift over to this side, we've been kind of playing around with the idea of potentially turning some of the sections over here on this side into an amusement park. Now, again, we're saying it's out there in the ether. It doesn't mean that it's necessarily going to happen because it depends on space and how that is going to work out. So potentially an amusement park, and then further over here, maybe a wooded area so that we can implement the A-frame cabin and just have maybe a little bit of a foresty looking area, a little mountainous, something like that. But nothing really crazy because we don't have the space for all of that. But we're trying to see if we can kind of implement that stuff in a way that's going to make sense and it's not going to look crowded and just overdone. Now, the plan with this right here, well, let's go ahead and put some base plates out and we can delve into this. Welcome to our beach / marina. Okay, so the thought process on this. Number one, the table may not stay this low because that's going to be a lot of bricks to build a retaining wall. And that's just a really heavy cost right there. So we may end up lifting that table a little bit. We'll find out. We'll do some brick counts and see exactly how much brick is required, and that kind of give us an idea of what that cost is going to be. So what we're going to do is maybe about 3/4 of the table may end up being beach, but maybe not that much. It's going to move depending on how much room we're going to need for the marina. So imagine this part right here being the beach, and then over here to this section over here being the marina. So we'll have a rock wall that kind of cuts this area off here. So we can have that water progression as it goes up in colors. And then over here is going to be deep water. So we'll have a pier, and then we'll have, hopefully again, this is all our thought process. Not sure if this is going to stay the same, but this is where we kind of want things to go. So we'll have a pier with some of the smaller boats that you can fit in this area. And then obviously we'll have like the fishing house or the harbor master, hopefully within this area here, if they do fit. This they may not, but we're going to have to play around with placement and see exactly how we can get them into here. So with that being said, and this being the harbor or the marina, then over here it's going to be beach. Now it will go progressively higher, just a little bit at a time, as the beach goes further in. So there's a little bit of a slope factor to that, but not like substantial. It's not going to go up, 7 or 8 bricks or anything of that nature. Now, further towards the back, we're hoping to maybe build some kind of stairway system here that splits off because we don't want to rob any of the space from the beach. But along this side, potentially, we can have vendors. So mock builds that we make, maybe even including some other builds that are smaller that have to do with food-wise, like some of the Bricklink sets that, are kind of like food vendors, can go around this area here. And then maybe potentially on this side, we'll have those vendors that you normally see at a beach that will rent you lawn chairs and umbrellas and, surfboards and all of that cool stuff and boogie boards and whatnot over here. So what we were thinking is imagine seeing the water, the beach, everything really well. What is the word I'm looking for? Uh, I don't know the word that I'm looking for, but anyways, so just going upon this, and then you look up, and then there is the city center. And the city center is going to be green with trees, a walkway, a retaining wall for minifigs to walk all the way around here and to look at where the beach is going to be at on each individual side. I think that just is a very cool shot and something a little bit different. So that is going to be the plan. Now, again, depending on how expensive things get, depending on exactly if we can or cannot pull this off, is whether this is going to stay the same. But I think that is just going to be such a fun build to implement here. Having the beach, the marina, and just that shot is just, it's going to be unbelievable. So hopefully we can pull that off. Now, what we're going to do next is set up some of the placement of the modulars so we can look and see what this is going to look like, how much space we're going to have on each individual side, and what potentially we could do with that space. We're going to start off on this side first, and then we'll kind of make our way over to this side. We need to order a bunch of base plates because now this has been expanded by another, I would say, a rough estimate, 30 base plates. So we're now looking at around 75, almost close to 100 base plates total of what this city is going to come out to. So, all right, let's move some modulars around to this right-hand side. All right, with some time moving things around and trying to figure out exactly how to get the most out of the table with equal amount of space on each sides, this is what we came up with. Now, the streets being here doesn't mean that the streets are going to be here. The placement doesn't mean the placement's going to stay. I feel like you have to say that because some people may think that this is going to be the end all be all. And yeah, so anyways, I feel like you do have to say that or reiterate it enough times that that is kind of set in stone. So what we did here is we placed a road that is actually going to stretch all the way around to this side and continue going this way. Now again, that doesn't mean that that's actually going to be a road. We may eliminate this and make this kind of a green area, walk area in front of these stores, or we might leave the road in. It just really depends. Now there are a ton of modulars that we don't have built yet. For instance, the Jazz Club. So there is still space here, and there is still space for other modulars as well. So we do need to build those. So you can kind of easily see where this is going to go. So what we're thinking, because we don't want this city to be crowded with roads, because that can be quite a problem. What we thought is we would have a road potentially on each side of the city, a road over here, and then potentially a road over here that would then disappear into a facade looking tunnel, which will indicate that the traffic goes in the tunnel and then comes out the opposite side, over to this side over here. Because I don't think we're going to be placing any kind of roads here in front because there's just not enough space for that. But what we're actually potentially thinking about doing is using the beach tram to make its way over here and then travel through the front of here all the way to potentially this side to then pick up passengers and people that want to use the beach tram, if that makes sense. Now, I do understand that the firehouse is there and that doesn't make any sense. But again, that was just placed there just to be placed there to see what that's going to look like. I thought what we would do, because of that curve that most of the time is needed when using any kind of train track, that we would build that area up here with brick, and then that would allow for us to place that train track on there safely with no issues, and then it would actually make sense of the reason why it is there. There is plenty of room here for the tram to pass through without getting into anything, getting into any way of anything, especially because of how we're going to potentially redesign some of the things here in front when it comes to the way that the city center looks. So that's going to be a thought process that we're going to have to go over, kind of look into. Again, I know that we're not putting anything physically together today, but we need to kind of get somewhat of a plan solidified, because then that allows us to know that once we start building, it's just not going to be replaced down the road, or it could be, but not necessarily. So this is going to be kind of a huge focus right here, because this can be seen 360. So you want to have something presentable on both sides that makes sense. Now, as we move over to the left-hand side, like we talked about, potentially having a, oh man, the word just kind of left my mind, to have an entertainment park or amusement park. There you go. That's the word I was looking for. An amusement park here. So we'll have a road coming maybe somewhere to around here to take people to said amusement park, and the tram will obviously be stopping somewhere around here as well. And then it'll transition into some rock work, some gravel, and then potentially a forest. And then we can have kind of a foresty area over here. So that's kind of what we're thinking about. We're still going back and forth exactly on placement and where potentially things could go. But this gives us a better idea that maybe this plan going with this direction might be the way to go, because again, you can see it 360. It's just now, how do we want to lay these things out? And I think this looks good. I really like the look of it, especially I'm super excited of what this is going to turn into, because there's many different ways that we can go with this. We could potentially also kind of cut this away into some rock work, still placing those buildings that we talked about earlier, but then having the lighthouse out here with the dark water, which would make sense. And then you have boats passing here and boats passing around on the other side. That is also another plan. There's just many different ways. That's the cool thing about Lego, is that it's just going to be up to your imagination, and obviously parts. You're going to need those parts, but it's just literally up to your imagination what it is that you want to pull off and what you can pull off. So that's going to be a good thing. But yes, as of now, this is kind of the way that we think we're going to be going with things. We'll see about potentially trying to get the rest of those modulars built so we can have them up on top of the tables and mess around with placement. But I don't know. this is looking pretty good. I'm excited about it. So yeah, we're getting close. We're getting close to potentially start building. Oh, and by the way, I do have parts coming to rebuild this because we're going to be adding to it. If we have to rebuild it, we want to add to it as well. And this is the parking garage and how it looks right now, and all the rest of the pieces that are sitting right there. And also, that part order is going to have some pieces that are specific to the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle build. So we're going to be getting on that as well. Excited, exciting times. So if you enjoyed the video, do us a favor and go down there and hit it with a like. If you want to see more content like this about Lego and just how things are going to go with the city, subscribe to the channel if we have earned it. Now let us know in the comment section below, what do you think about the placement and where things are potentially going to go? With a city building, anything can change at any given moment if the math doesn't maths or whatever the case is. So, but as of right now, what do you think about the placement? Let us know in that comment section below. Also, what do you think about our idea of the beach and marina area? I don't know. I'm super excited about that. I think it's going to be so fun to tell a bunch of cool stories of people watching the beach from the city center, and then everything that can happen down in the beach area itself. I don't know. I'm just really excited about it. Let us know in that comment section below. As you're out there looking for Lego, hunting for that perfect set for you, be safe out there, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye!